Before Adam and Eve, humanity was already being watched. Long before the first pages of Genesis were written, the earth was not alone in the universe. From the depths of the stars came the Anunnaki, ancient beings of immense knowledge and power. They observed the planet from their advanced vessels, studying its lands, its oceans, and the fragile life that was beginning to awaken. In hidden laboratories beyond human sight, they shaped humanity's destiny. Inside chambers of glass and light, humans were created, observed, and refined. Flesh and spirit were studied as one. The Anunnaki were not merely visitors. They were architects of civilizations, teachers of kings, and guardians of forbidden knowledge. They walked among early humans as gods, and humanity worshipped them as such. But among all beings, one stood apart. He appeared as a man, yet carried eternity within him. Clothed in white robes woven with golden stars that flashed like lightning, crowned with gold and diamonds, Jesus Christ stood among them, not as a prisoner, not as a creation, but as the heir. His presence was calm, sovereign, and timeless. The Anunnaki gathered around him in reverence, placing the crown upon his head, acknowledging his authority. Inside a vast celestial ship, they guided him toward the stars. Through immense transparent windows, the earth came into view, blue, alive, and fragile. The Anunnaki raised their hands and pointed toward the planet, revealing continents, oceans, and the future written in light. Holograms unfolded in the air, showing humanity's path: rise, fall, war, faith, and redemption. This was the moment of choice. The earth was not just a world, it was an inheritance. The Anunnaki had guided humanity's early steps, but they could not remain. Their time as gods would end. Their names would fade, their stories rewritten. They would become myths, angels, watchers, demons, hidden between the lines of sacred texts. And so, the divine plan was set into motion. Jesus would descend not as a ruler in the heavens, but as a servant among men. The crown would be replaced by a cross. Knowledge would be veiled as faith. Power would be hidden within sacrifice. The Garden of Eden was not the beginning. It was a reset. The serpent was not just temptation. It was knowledge. The gods were not erased. They were transformed. What humanity calls Genesis is not the first chapter. It is the surviving echo of a far older story. It was not an act of war. It was a decision. From the ancient heavens, the Watchers observed the earth in silence. They were neither gods nor men, but something in between, guardians of balance, witnesses of the experiment. Their purpose was not to rule, but to observe, not to interfere, not to become involved. But the earth changed, and so did they. They saw a world prepared, purified after the Great Fall, ready for a new creation. They saw hidden laboratories, living machines, and the design of a humanity still unfinished. And for the first time, they felt something that was never written into their mandate: compassion. When they descended, the sky opened like a wound. They did not fall as meteors, but as conscious shadows. Their steps shook the land, and their presence altered the established order. Where there had only been observation, there was now contact. The Watchers taught. They revealed fire, numbers, agriculture, and writing. They raised structures, aligned stones, and measured the heavens. But with knowledge came desire, and with desire, transgression. Those who were meant to watch without touching chose to remain. They sealed pacts. They took form, and they crossed a boundary that was never meant to be crossed. That was the true descent, not from heaven to earth, but from obedience to rebellion. From that moment on, the experiment was no longer under control. That in the next chapter, we will uncover the oath the Watchers broke, and how their decision gave birth to a new race that would change the fate of the world forever. Before the first human breath, the earth was already alive. Its skies were different, its waters deeper, its land shaped by forces no longer present. Ancient creatures walked freely across vast continents, and ecosystems flourished without fear. There was order, but not human order, a balance designed long before humanity was imagined. Hidden beneath layers of stone and time, structures once stood where no civilization should have existed. Perfect angles, impossible geometry, traces of intelligence erased by catastrophe or intention. This world did not belong to Adam. It belonged to something older. Some believe the earth was a testing ground, a place where life was shaped, observed, and corrected. Failures were buried, successes refined. Extinction was not an accident. It was a reset. When the old world fell, its memory was sealed beneath oceans and sediment. What remained was silence and preparation. Only after the earth was emptied, only after the world was made obedient, did the next phase begin. And then humanity was introduced. In the next chapter, we will uncover who watched this ancient world fall, and why the earth had to be cleansed before Adapa was created. Before human history began, the Watchers descended. Ancient, luminous beings carrying knowledge far beyond Earth, they observed a young and violent planet. Later texts would call them sons of God, but their mission was precise: to create a being capable of working, obeying, and adapting. Thus, Project Adapa was born. The Garden of Eden was their first testing environment. Not a paradise, but a closed system designed to control every variable. Stable climate, endless food, no predators, no scarcity, and above all, no choice. Adapa was introduced as the first successful hybrid. His body was perfected, but his mind was restricted. The Watchers understood that full awareness would introduce a dangerous variable: disobedience. Knowledge, therefore, was sealed away. The forbidden tree was not divine punishment. It was a switch, a point of access to moral awareness, self-consciousness, and the ability to question one's creators. One Watcher, later remembered as the Serpent, recognized the flaw in the design. A being without knowledge could never evolve. Breaking protocol, he gave Adapa what was forbidden: awakening. The transformation was immediate. Adapa did not die. He thought. He felt. He feared, and he understood. Eden reacted like any laboratory when an experiment escapes control. The system shut down. Access was revoked. The expulsion was not a moral curse, but a permanent disconnection. Outside the garden, true humanity began. Labor, suffering, but also freedom. Project Adapa had failed. Or perhaps, it had succeeded in a way the Watchers never intended. In the next chapter, we will uncover what happened when some Watchers refused to leave Earth, and how their defiance reshaped the destiny of humankind forever. Before the law was written and before temples were built, there appeared a man without origin or ending. His name was Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of the Most High God. He did not rise from a lineage, nor was his priesthood inherited. He came quietly, clothed in humility, yet carried an authority that silenced warriors and bent kings to reverence. Where others ruled by strength, he ruled by peace. When Abraham returned from battle, weary and stained by war, Melchizedek met him, not with weapons, but with bread and wine. In that simple offering was a blessing older than sacrifice, a covenant before blood was demanded. And Abraham, father of nations, bowed his head and offered a tenth, recognizing a priesthood greater than his own promise. Then, as suddenly as he appeared, Melchizedek vanished. No record of his birth, no account of his death, only a shadow left behind, pointing forward through the ages. His priesthood was not bound to time. It whispered of a future grace, of a priest who would come not from the altar of stone, but from eternity itself. A priest who would bring peace, not through law or fear, but through love. Melchizedek remained, a mystery written between the lines of Scripture, a sign that God's plan was already unfolding long before humanity understood it. And his story was not the end, it was the beginning. In an age before temples of stone and doctrines of power, Jesus spoke words not meant for crowds, but for those who dared to awaken. These were not teachings of fear or reward, but sayings hidden like fire inside language, waiting to be discovered. Thomas listened carefully. He was called the doubter, yet he was the one who questioned deeply. Jesus did not speak to him of kingdoms above the clouds, but of a kingdom already living within every human being. If you bring forth what is within you, it will save you, the teacher said. The word struck harder than any blade. The disciples grew uneasy. There were no rules to obey, no thrones to inherit, only a dangerous truth: to know oneself is to know God. Such knowledge could not be controlled. Jesus walked among stones and trees, pointing to the ordinary world. Split a piece of wood and I am there. Lift a stone, and you will find me. Creation itself became sacred scripture. These teachings were whispered at night, written in secret, and buried beneath sand and silence. Not because they were false, but because they made humanity free without permission. The Gospel of Thomas does not build an institution. It hands the seeker a mirror, and once a person looks into it, there is no turning back. In the next chapter, we will descend deeper into the forbidden texts that history tried to erase, and uncover why their truth was feared.
The kingdom is within you, hidden like a seed in the sand.
The teaching of Jesus did not arrive with swords or armies. It arrived quietly, and that is why it was dangerous. For generations, faith had been built on fear: fear of punishment, fear of exclusion, fear of a distant God who watched from above and judged from afar. Institutions grew strong by guarding the gates of forgiveness, deciding who was clean and who was condemned. Then Jesus spoke of love. He spoke of a Father who runs toward the lost, not away from them, of mercy placed above sacrifice, of forgiveness offered before repentance was demanded, and the foundations began to shake. Jesus ate with sinners. He touched those declared unclean. He defended the broken instead of accusing them. He taught that understanding heals more deeply than punishment, and that love transforms what fear can only restrain. "You have heard it said," he told them, "but I say to you." With each word, ancient certainties trembled. The leaders listened and felt threatened. If God could be known through compassion, then control was lost. If forgiveness was freely given, then fear lost its power. If love fulfilled the law, then violence in God's name stood exposed. Jesus did not abolish faith. He revealed its heart. And that heart was dangerous to those who ruled through condemnation. Crowds followed him not because he promised safety, but because he offered truth without chains. Yet every act of healing, every word of mercy, widened the divide between love and power. They could not silence the message without silencing the man. Still, the teaching spread, quietly, relentlessly, because love does not need permission to grow. And even now, it continues to unsettle every system built on fear rather than grace. In the next chapter, we will witness how this message of love led inevitably toward confrontation, betrayal, and the decision to extinguish the light, believing it could be buried forever.
Blessed are those who seek peace, for they shall find the kingdom within. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Blessed are those who seek the light, for they shall find hope and truth.
After the words were spoken, there was no thunder and no fire from heaven. There was silence, a silence that forced every heart to turn inward. Jesus looked upon them with compassion. He knew that many had been taught to search for God in distant heavens or behind sacred walls. Yet he came to reveal a deeper truth. God does not dwell only in temples made of stone, but in the living heart of humanity. The kingdom does not come with signs to be observed, he said gently. They will not say, "Look, here it is," or "There it is." For the kingdom of God is within you. Some felt peace, others felt fear. To seek God within meant facing one's own wounds, one's own darkness, and also the divine spark that had never been extinguished. Jesus walked among the weary and the forgotten. He touched the unclean, lifted the broken, and saw in every person a dwelling place of the Holy One. He spoke not of outward sacrifice, but of transformation of the heart, not of fear, but of light. Whoever knows himself, he taught, will not be ruled by darkness. And these words healed in ways no miracle ever could. But such teaching was dangerous. A people who discover God within themselves can no longer be easily enslaved. And so some closed their ears, while others began to plot silence. Still, the seed had been planted, and it continues to grow in every soul that dares to seek with humility and truth. For the true temple is not built with stone. It is built with an awakened heart. In the next chapter, we will reveal how these teachings were hidden, distorted, and fiercely opposed, and why inner knowledge was seen as a threat to religious and political power. The Maya, echoes of time. Deep within the Mesoamerican jungle, where morning mist rises and the calls of unseen birds break the silence, lies the legacy of a civilization that defied time, the Maya. They were not merely builders of stone. They were architects of the cosmos. Their cities were raised in harmony with the heavens. Pyramids aligned with the movements of the sun, the moon, and Venus. Every stairway, every temple, every shadow cast across stone carried both scientific precision and sacred meaning. While much of the ancient world struggled to measure time, the Maya mastered it. They predicted eclipses, charted planetary cycles, and understood time not as an end, but as an eternal transformation. Yet their knowledge did not dwell only in the sky. It lived in the earth, in maze, in ritual, and in the profound bond between humanity and the divine. For the Maya, science and spirituality were inseparable, woven together into a single ancestral wisdom. Then came the silence. Cities were abandoned. The jungle reclaimed the temples. Stone was swallowed by roots and shadow. To the modern world, the Maya seemed to vanish, but they did not disappear. Their knowledge slept beneath the canopy, carved into stone and written in the stars, waiting to be rediscovered. Today, as we walk among their ruins, we do not merely observe the past, we hear an echo, a message that still resonates across centuries. We are not separate from the universe. We are part of its rhythm. This is the story of a mysterious, advanced, and deeply enigmatic civilization. A story written in stone, sky, and time. It began within hours. In Caracas, the dead rose and the city collapsed. Streets flooded with zombies, buildings burned, and screams were swallowed by smoke. No local force could stop the spread. From the sky, cutting-edge military helicopters tore through the clouds. Elite US forces deployed into the city, turning avenues and plazas into war zones. Gunfire echoed endlessly, yet the zombies kept advancing. As night consumed the capital, one truth became undeniable. Caracas could no longer be saved, only contained. When the helicopters pulled back, a final message remained clear. Caracas was not the end. It was the beginning. The serpent of knowledge. Before humanity, there was an experiment. Beneath what would later be called paradise, hidden behind living walls of light and code, the Anunnaki built a high-security biological laboratory. They did not pray. They did not worship. They engineered. Inside a glowing incubation chamber, Subject Adapa took his first breath. His DNA was not purely human. It carried fragments of something ancient and foreign, celestial code woven into flesh. He was the first successful hybrid, designed for strength, obedience, and labor. But something went wrong. Or perhaps something went right. Among the creators, division grew. Some demanded control and submission. Others feared what they had awakened. And then Enki arrived. He moved silently through the lab, serpent-like symbols flowing around him, his eyes filled with knowledge rather than judgment. Later generations would call him the serpent. Not a demon, but a scientist. A rebel. They made you to serve, Enki whispered as he altered Adapa's genetic sequence. I will give you the power to understand. When knowledge was released, alarms shattered the stillness. The overseers descended in fury. Eden was sealed. Memories were fractured. Fear was implanted deep into the human mind as a control mechanism. They would later call it original sin. But it was never a sin. It was a forbidden upgrade. Humanity was cast into the world, confused, vulnerable, yet carrying an unerasable spark, consciousness. A memory buried deep in DNA, echoing through myths, dreams, and sacred texts. And the serpent disappeared, or so we were told. Because Project Adapa was never terminated. It was hidden, rewritten, disguised as scripture. And now, it is awakening again. In the next chapter, we will continue uncovering the forbidden archives of Project Adapa, revealing who the Watchers truly were, why the Giants were born, and what role humanity still plays in an experiment that never ended. The question is no longer who created us, but why they are still watching. A gladiator whose courage silenced the entire Colosseum. The sun of Rome burned mercilessly over the Colosseum. The sand scorched the ground. The air trembled with shouts, wagers, and hunger for death. That day, the noise was deafening, until Marcus Valerius stepped into the arena. He did not raise his weapon to provoke the crowd. He did not shout. He walked in silence, head held high, his body marked with scars. He was a veteran gladiator, known not for cruelty, but for honor. Marcus fought as if every battle were his last. He did not humiliate his enemies. He did not strike from behind. In the arena, where almost no one did, he respected the unwritten laws of valor. That day would be his final trial. Across from him stood a savage fighter, infamous for finishing opponents without mercy. The crowd roared, craving blood. The fight was brutal. Swords clashed with violence. Shields shattered. The sand turned red. Marcus was wounded in the side. Blood ran freely beneath the burning sun. His legs trembled, but he did not fall. Every blow he received, he answered with greater resolve. He was not fighting to survive. He was fighting to show who he was. In a decisive moment, he brought his enemy down. His blade hovered at the fallen man's throat. The Colosseum screamed. It demanded death. Marcus took a deep breath, looked at the defeated man, and lowered his sword. Silence fell over Rome. No one understood what they were witnessing. A wounded gladiator choosing mercy. The emperor watched. The crowd stood frozen, holding its breath. Then, slowly, applause began. Not roars, not screams, but steady, respectful claps. The thumb rose. Marcus Valerius did not celebrate. He stood there, blood-soaked, beneath the unforgiving sun, while the entire Colosseum remained silent. Because that day, Rome learned a truth it would never forget. Blood may win battles, but only honor can silence an empire. The story of the gladiator who stepped back from death. The sun burned high over the Colosseum. Thousands of voices roared, hungry for blood and glory. From the dark tunnel, a lone man stepped into the arena. Aurelius, the gladiator Rome would come to call the lion of the Colosseum. He was not the strongest. He was not the fastest. But he possessed something rare. He never stepped back. Not from fear. Not from pain, not from death. In his first fight, he faced 3 men at once. The crowd expected him to fall within seconds. But when the dust settled, Aurelius was still standing, wounded, breathing hard, yet unbroken. That day, Rome began to chant his name. With every battle, his legend grew. While others hesitated, he advanced. While fear stopped many, the lion charged forward. The fight that made him immortal came on a tense morning. Across from him stood a massive, undefeated warrior, Their clash shook the arena, steel, blood, and sand flying. Aurelius fell to his knees. The Colosseum fell silent. The giant raised his weapon for the final blow. But the lion rose, bleeding, exhausted, never stepping back. With one last strike, he brought the giant down. The colossus fell. The lion remained standing. The crowd erupted. The emperor raised his thumb. Aurelius did not celebrate. He simply bowed his head to the people. And so Rome learned a truth it would never forget. As long as courage exists, the lion of the Colosseum will never step back from death. In the heart of East Africa, where the savanna stretches endlessly beneath a burning sky, the Hadzabe people live as they have for thousands of years. Their village is made of rustic bamboo huts, low and fragile in appearance, yet strong enough to endure wind, rain, and time. Smoke rises from small fires as the morning light filters through woven walls of grass and branches. Life moves constantly between the huts. Children run barefoot through the dust, women prepare roots and gathered food, and hunters sharpen arrows in silence. The cabins sway gently with the wind, their roofs whispering stories of past storms and long journeys. Every sound matters here. Every shadow is watched. As night falls, firelight turns the village into a living circle of shadows. The huts glow softly, and elders speak in low voices while sparks rise toward the stars. Beyond the fragile walls, the savanna listens. Lions roam in the darkness, and danger is never far. When storms arrive, the village bends but does not break. Rain pounds the bamboo roofs, wind shakes the walls, and families gather close inside the huts. Survival is shared. Fear is silent. At sunset, the hunters return. Their silhouettes cross the tall grass as smoke rises from the cabins behind them. No words are needed. The village breathes again. This is not a place of comfort or excess. It is a place of balance, between humans and nature, shelter and exposure, life and death. Here, among bamboo huts and endless plains, the Hadzabe endure, guarding a way of life the modern world has nearly forgotten. Evangelio de hoy, jueves 8 de enero de 2026. Lucas 4, 14 a 22. En aquel tiempo, Jesús volvió a Galilea con la fuerza del Espíritu, y su fama se extendió por toda la región. Enseñaba en las sinagogas y todos lo alababan. Fue a Nazaret, donde se había criado, y entró en la sinagoga, como era su costumbre, el día sábado. Se levantó para hacer la lectura y le entregaron el libro del profeta Isaías. Lo desenrolló y encontró el pasaje donde estaba escrito: El Espíritu del Señor está sobre mí, porque me ha ungido. Me ha enviado para anunciar la buena noticia a los pobres, para proclamar la liberación a los cautivos, y la vista a los ciegos, para poner en libertad a los oprimidos, y proclamar un año de gracia del Señor. Luego enrolló el libro, lo devolvió al ayudante y se sentó. Todos los que estaban en la sinagoga tenían los ojos fijos en él. Entonces comenzó a decirles: Hoy se cumple esta escritura que acaban de oír. Y todos daban testimonio a su favor y estaban admirados de las palabras llenas de gracia que salían de su boca. Reflexión breve. Jesús proclama que la salvación no es una promesa futura, sino una realidad que comienza hoy. Su misión es llevar esperanza, libertad y sanación a quienes más lo necesitan. In the heart of East Africa, where the savanna stretches endlessly beneath a burning sky, the Hadzabe people live as they have for thousands of years. Their village is made of rustic bamboo huts, low and fragile in appearance, yet strong enough to endure wind, rain, and time. Smoke rises from small fires as the morning light filters through woven walls of grass and branches. Life moves constantly between the huts. Children run barefoot through the dust, women prepare roots and gathered food, and hunters sharpen arrows in silence. The cabins sway gently with the wind, their roofs whispering stories of past storms and long journeys. Every sound matters here. Every shadow is watched. As night falls, firelight turns the village into a living circle of shadows. The huts glow softly, and elders speak in low voices while sparks rise toward the stars. Beyond the fragile walls, the savanna listens. Lions roam in the darkness, and danger is never far. When storms arrive, the village bends but does not break. Rain pounds the bamboo roofs, wind shakes the walls, and families gather close inside the huts. Survival is shared. Fear is silent. At sunset, the hunters return. Their silhouettes cross the tall grass as smoke rises from the cabins behind them. No words are needed. The village breathes again. This is not a place of comfort or excess. It is a place of balance, between humans and nature, shelter and exposure, life and death. Here, among bamboo huts and endless plains, the Hadzabe endure, guarding a way of life the modern world has nearly forgotten. Gospel of today, Thursday, January 8, 2026. Luke 4 verses 14 to 22. At that time, Jesus returned to Galilee in the power of the Spirit, and news about him spread throughout the whole region. He taught in their synagogues and was praised by all. He came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and went into the synagogue, as was his custom, on the Sabbath day. He stood up to read, and the scroll of the prophet Isaiah was handed to him. He unrolled the scroll and found the passage where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me. He has sent me to bring good news to the poor, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and recovery of sight to the blind, to set the oppressed free, and to proclaim a year acceptable to the Lord." Then he rolled up the scroll, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. The eyes of all in the synagogue were fixed on him. And he began to say to them, "Today this scripture has been fulfilled in your hearing." And all spoke well of him and were amazed at the gracious words that came from his mouth.
And it is written, "Love thy neighbor as thyself," for in this commandment lies the path to peace and understanding.
12 legions unseen. The night was heavy in Gethsemane. Torches cut through the darkness as soldiers advanced, armor clanking, hands tight around swords. Betrayal stood at the front, a kiss still warm in the air. Fear moved among the disciples like a storm about to break. One blade flashed. Steel rang as Peter struck, and blood fell to the ground. The moment shattered the silence, and in that instant, the world held its breath. Jesus did not run. He raised his hand, and the violence stopped. His eyes lifted not in fear, but in certainty. toward a sky that looked silent, yet was anything but. For beyond the veil of night stood armies unseen. Legions upon legions of angels waited, wings folded, weapons of fire restrained by a single command. At one word, the earth would split. At one breath, the soldiers would fall like dust. Heaven itself was poised to descend. And he knew it. "Do you think I cannot call on my Father?" he said calmly. "And he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels?" The soldiers laughed, unaware how close they stood to annihilation. But no command came. The angels did not move. Power chose restraint. Authority chose surrender. Love chose the cross. Jesus lowered his hand and stepped forward, allowing himself to be bound, not because he was weak, but because he was obedient. Not because heaven was silent, but because heaven was waiting. The angels watched as their king was led away. And the universe learned a truth greater than force. The greatest power is not the ability to destroy, but the strength to save at any cost. The Garden of Eden was never a paradise. It was a sealed place where heaven first touched the earth. There began the experiment, when the beings later called the sons of God altered human flesh and awakened a mind meant to obey, not to understand. But one among them opened what should have remained sealed, and humanity awakened. That was the true sin, knowledge. Cast out from Eden, humankind multiplied and split into two paths. The lineage of Cain built cities of stone and towers of pride. The lineage of Seth remembered the voice above, and in the days of Enosh, men began to call upon the name of the Lord, and their cry once again reached the heavens. Then came the second transgression. The sons of God looked upon the daughters of men and descended. From that forbidden union the Nephilim were born, giants of immense strength and unrestrained will. They ruled by violence, feasted in arrogance, and filled the earth with corruption. The experiment had spiraled beyond control. Yet amid the noise and the pride, one man walked differently. Noah found favor. While giants laughed and crowds mocked, he listened and obeyed. He built the ark under open skies, wood rising day by day, a warning no one believed. Then the door was shut. The sky broke open. The fountains of the deep burst forth. Towers fell, giants were swallowed, and the world that had crossed forbidden boundaries was erased by water. The flood was not only destruction, it was containment. When the waters withdrew, the earth stood silent. The giants were gone. The heavens were distant once more. But the experiment continued, this time with a warning written into the memory of the world. Whenever heaven and earth unite in pride, creation itself rises to restore the boundary. And that ancient story, though buried beneath water and time, has not yet reached its end. The battle of the Archangel Gabriel. In Babylon, the prophet Daniel prayed with a troubled heart. He fasted, seeking answers for his people, and for days the heavens seemed silent. But the silence was not absence. It was war. From the moment Daniel began to pray, God answered and sent the Archangel Gabriel with a divine message. Gabriel descended through the heavens, carrying revelation and truth, but he was stopped. In the unseen realm, the prince of Persia rose against him, a powerful ruler of darkness. Their clash shook the heavens, light against shadow, obedience against rebellion. For 21 days, the battle raged, mirroring Daniel's fasting on earth. When the resistance could not be broken, heaven intervened. The archangel Michael, commander of God's armies, descended with unstoppable authority. With a single strike, he shattered the hold of the Prince of Persia and opened the way. Freed, Gabriel continued his mission and appeared before Daniel, radiant and strong. From the first day you set your heart to understand and humbled yourself, your prayer was heard. Yet the war was not finished. As Gabriel prepared to return, he warned that another power waited in the shadows, the Prince of Greece, a coming darkness tied to future kingdoms. The message had been delivered. The prayer had been answered. The battle continued. For every time the faithful pray, heaven moves, angels fight, and though unseen by human eyes, no prayer is ever ignored. Under the broom tree, the desert showed no mercy. The sun burned high above, and the silence pressed heavily on the land. The prophet Elijah, exhausted from the long journey and the weight of his calling, finally collapsed beneath a solitary broom tree. His strength was gone. His spirit felt empty. "Enough, Lord," he whispered. "Take my life." There, between sand and shadow, Elijah fell into a deep sleep, overwhelmed by weariness and despair. Then a gentle touch awakened him. An angel of the Lord stood beside him, not with judgment, but with compassion. The angel spoke softly, "Get up and eat." Beside Elijah lay freshly baked bread and a jar of water. He drank and lay down again. A second time, the angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." Strength returned not only to Elijah's body, but to his soul. He rose and began to walk. For 40 days and 40 nights, he traveled through wilderness and silence, until he reached Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. There, Elijah understood that he had never been alone. And so it is with us. There are moments when the road feels endless, when our strength fails and our hearts grow weary. But the Lord does not abandon us beneath the broom tree. He comes near, gives us what we need, and walks with us, until we are strong enough to continue. You are not alone. You never have been.
The forest knows you are here. I didn't come to hurt anyone. That is what they all say. You must be cautious. I sense great power in this meat.
You walk on living ground.
We are not separate from this world.
Weapons hot, eyes open. This planet is watching us. Sir, the ground is glowing. You walk on living ground, metal beings.
We're not here to fight.
Captain, they're everywhere. Your fear shines louder than your weapons. This planet reacts like a nervous system. Then we're cutting deep. The sky invaders do not listen. Then the world must answer.
I was trained to destroy, not to feel this.
Now you hear the planet breathe. Command orders full strike.
There are villages out there! Defend the heart! They're everywhere!
You have killed a memory older than your stars.
Call it off. We finished the mission. I choose life.
The Cyclops is the giant with a single eye. a colossal creature born from ancient myth, brute force, and isolation. Legends describe it as an enormous being with one gigantic eye in the center of its forehead, an eye that watches without mercy and never sleeps. Its body appears to be made of living stone, muscles hardened by endless labor and survival. The Cyclops lives apart from the world of men, dwelling in caves and desolate lands. It does not farm. It does not build cities. It hunts. It survives. It endures. Feared by humans and gods alike, the Cyclops represents power without law, strength without civilization. Yet it is not a mindless beast. It knows fire. It forges. Remembers. In ancient times, the Cyclops was both monster and craftsman, creator of legendary weapons, master of iron and thunder. Its single eye symbolizes brutal focus, seeing only what stands before it, prey, threat, or challenge. The Cyclops is not evil by nature. It is ancient, it is alone, and it is unstoppable.
Saving your friend in a zombie apocalypse during a journey through the pyramids of Egypt. The scorching sun hangs over the pyramids of Giza as your journey turns into a nightmare. What was once a place of wonder becomes a battlefield when the dead rise from ancient tombs. Mummified zombies, wrapped in torn linen and covered in sand, emerge from hidden chambers beneath the pyramids. Your friend is separated from you inside a collapsing passageway beneath the Great Pyramid. Their voice crackles through the radio, filled with fear. You rush through narrow corridors lined with hieroglyphs, using torches and flares to light your way as shadows move along the walls. Zombies pour from secret tunnels. You push fallen stone blocks, slide down sand-covered ramps, and seal doors just long enough to survive. Deep inside the pyramid, you find your friend trapped near an open sarcophagus as the ceiling begins to collapse. You pull them free and run. Stone crashes behind you, burying the undead in dust and darkness. Together, you escape into the open desert as night falls. Under the moonlight, the pyramid stands silent, ancient witnesses to yet another apocalypse. You survived because you never left your friend behind.
The world did not sleep last night. It feels pain. Anger.
Sir, the terrain is reacting to us. Ignore it. Keep moving.
When the ground glows red, the world is warning us.
Increase extraction speed. The planet doesn't like this.
It's responding.
Is this the planet doing this?
No, this is the planet waking up.
A guardian has risen.
That thing wasn't on the scans! Target it.
Do not fire.
If we shoot, we start a war. Then we finish it fast.
You were warned.
Long before humanity, before even the first upright hominids walked the Earth, this planet was home to a non-human civilization, Atlantis. Its inhabitants were not human. They were reptilian humanoids, genetically advanced beings descended from an intelligence that arrived from the cosmos in a forgotten age. They did not conquer Earth, they selected it. Their biology was engineered for a young, unstable planet rich in geothermal and cosmic energy. Atlantis was not primitive. It was futuristic even by modern standards. Its cities floated partially above the ocean, held in place by planetary energy fields drawn from Earth's core. Towers of organic crystal and living metal rose from massive circular platforms, aligned with stars that no longer occupy the same positions in the sky. The architecture was not built, it grew. The reptilian Atlanteans mastered technology based on resonance, frequency, and consciousness. They did not rely on machines as humans do. They used the planet itself as their power source. Their temples functioned as planetary control nodes, regulating climate, tectonic movement, and oceans. Their greatest mistake was confidence. By manipulating planetary and cosmic forces, they disrupted the balance that sustained them. Earth's core destabilized. Oceans rose. The global energy network collapsed. In a single day and night, Atlantis fell. The island fractured. Cities sank slowly as energy fields failed one by one. Some Atlanteans escaped, some into the deep ocean, others into subterranean sanctuaries, and a few left the planet entirely. When humans emerged millions of years later, they found no visible ruins. Only myths, only serpent gods, only echoes buried beneath the sea. Atlantis was never a myth. It was Earth's first civilization, and its destruction was a warning humanity has yet to understand. Before he became a hero, Hercules was marked by the hatred of the gods. Son of Zeus, king of Olympus, and a mortal woman, he was born with a strength the world was not ready to face. From the moment he was born, his fate was sealed. Hera, consumed by jealousy, tried to kill him by sending two giant serpents into his cradle. He did not cry. He looked at them and crushed them with his bare hands. Years later, Hercules grew into an unstoppable warrior, loved by the people and feared by his enemies. But tragedy struck when Hera, in a final act of cruelty, clouded his mind. Driven mad, Hercules committed the greatest sin of his life. He destroyed the ones he loved most. When the madness faded, only silence remained and guilt. Broken and desperate for redemption, Hercules begged for punishment. The gods answered with a sentence: 12 impossible labors, trials no man should survive. He slew the Nemean lion, whose hide could not be pierced. He defeated the Hydra, cutting off heads that grew back stronger. He descended into the underworld and returned alive, dragging the fearsome Cerberus into the light. Every battle bled him. Every victory brought him closer to death and closer to legend. In the end, Hercules was no longer just a man of strength. He became proof that even gods can fall, and that humans can rise. When his mortal body finally died, the gates of Olympus opened. Zeus called him home, and the man who suffered like no other ascended as a god. Because Hercules was not great because of his strength. He was great because he fell, paid for his guilt, and never stopped fighting. In an age ruled by corrupt kings and false gods, Elijah appeared without warning, no royal blood, no army at his side. He stood before King Ahab with a voice that burned like fire and spoke an impossible judgment. There will be no rain or dew except at my word. And the sky obeyed, the land cracked, rivers dried. Fear spread through the kingdom. While the people searched for answers, Elijah vanished into the wilderness. There, when food and water no longer existed, God sustained him through ravens, bringing bread and meat day after day. Faith became survival. But the greatest test was yet to come. On Mount Carmel, Elijah stood alone against 450 prophets of Baal. One man versus hundreds. Two altars. Two gods. One eternal question. Who is the true God? The false prophets shouted, danced, and cut themselves, but nothing happened. Silence. Then Elijah rebuilt his altar, soaked it with water, when water was more precious than gold, and prayed once. Fire fell from heaven. Flames consumed the sacrifice, the stones, and even the dust. The people fell to their knees. Power was exposed. Truth was undeniable. Yet even after victory, Elijah faced fear, exhaustion, and despair. He fled, hid in a cave, and asked to die. And there, God did not come in the earthquake, or the wind, or the fire, but in a gentle whisper. Elijah learned that true strength does not always roar. Sometimes, it guides quietly. His story did not end in death. It ended in ascension. A chariot of fire descended from the heavens, and Elijah was taken alive, wrapped in flame and wind, leaving behind a legacy that still burns. Elijah was not just a prophet. He was a warning, a voice against power, a man who walked between heaven and earth, and was claimed by heaven itself. The slave who conquered the heart of the Roman people. He entered the arena in chains. No armor polished with pride. No name worth remembering. Only a number and the weight of slavery. His name was Cassion. He was not born a warrior. He was taken from his land, sold, beaten, and trained to die for entertainment. To Rome, he was nothing more than another body for the sand. But from his very first fight, something was different. Cassion fought not with rage, but with heart. He protected fallen opponents when he could. He saluted the crowd, not as a beast, but as a man. And the people noticed. Each time he returned to the arena, the cheers grew louder. Not because he was cruel, but because he was human. In one brutal match, Cassion faced a young gladiator barely able to stand. The crowd demanded blood, but Cassion lowered his sword and stood between the boy and death. The arena fell silent. Then applause. Slow at first, then thunderous. From that day on, Cassion was no longer just a slave. He was acclaimed by the arena. His greatest battle came against a ruthless champion, feared across Rome. The fight was savage. Cassion was wounded, bleeding, barely standing. Yet the crowd rose to its feet, chanting his name. Not for violence, but for courage. With one final strike, Cassion won. He collapsed to his knees, alive. The emperor stood. The chains were removed. Freedom was granted. Cassion did not raise his arms in triumph. He looked to the crowd, the people who had given him something greater than victory. They had given him dignity. And so Rome remembered him not as a slave, but as the gladiator who conquered its heart.
million years from now, Earth is no longer the world we recognize. In scorched deserts, colossal creatures evolved to survive extreme heat and radiation. Of the storms, new Apulate rule the skies, born from wind and lightning. In the darkest oceans, life grew larger, slower, and more ancient than ever before. Now, some species no longer think alone. They think together. This is science fiction. This is fun. Given time holds.
It wasn't the roar of an animal that warned the forest. It was the sound. A deep, unnatural buzzing, low, heavy, mechanical, like the air itself was being torn apart. Scientists detected it first through acoustic sensors. Then the beekeepers found the hives. Silent, torn open, empty. Thousands of bees lay scattered on the ground, decapitated. There was no struggle. It was precise, efficient. The predator descended from the sky. The Asian giant hornet does not attack like other insects. It executes. Its massive orange head houses mandibles that don't sting, they cut. In minutes, a single hornet can erase an entire colony. Not for hunger, for dominance. When the first video surfaced, no one wanted to believe it. The insect was too large, too fast, too perfect. Its wings sounded like engines. Its stinger looked like a living spear. It didn't retreat. It didn't hesitate. It advanced. Bees, the backbone of global pollination, had no defense. And without them, balance collapses. Crops fail. Food chains fracture. Ecosystems unravel. This isn't a movie. This isn't a myth. It's a brutal reminder that nature doesn't need permission to become a threat. And it's already here. The creatures left outside the ark. Before the first rain fell, the world already felt its end approaching. The sky gathered in heavy silence, clouds pressing low over the land, while Noah worked on the ark, guided by a voice older than memory. Animals arrived two by two, lions, birds, cattle, wolves, moving calmly, as if the earth itself was leading them. The ark was not yet a refuge from water, but a boundary between what would be preserved and what would not. From the forgotten edges of creation, other beings appeared. Giants walked from the hills, their footsteps shaking the ground. Hybrid creatures emerged from forests and ruins, forms never meant to endure. They watched the ark with fear and expectation, believing they too belonged among the saved. They were wrong. The ark did not open for them, not because of their shape, but because of their origin. As the rain began, the sky broke open. Water fell in endless sheets, rivers burst their banks, and the world dissolved into motion and sound. Animals outside struggled against the rising flood, while inside the ark, order remained. Wood groaned under the pressure, but it held. Within the ark, common creatures rested, breathing, shifting, surviving. Warm light flickered along wooden walls as the storm raged beyond them. Outside, the rejected ran, flew, roared, and disappeared beneath the rising waters. Some legends say not all of them perished, that a few found caves, depths, or places untouched by the flood. And that is why, even now, humanity tells stories of monsters. Not as myths, but as memories of those who were left behind. The labyrinth breathed. Every stone wall sweated fear, every corridor seemed to shift and change. No one entered without losing something, or losing everything. At the heart of Crete, beneath the palace of King Minos, lived the Minotaur. Half man, half beast. A monster born from the punishment of the gods and fed with the blood of the innocent. Its breathing was deep and heavy, like a war drum echoing through the darkness. Its horns bore the scars of countless battles. Its eyes burned with eternal hunger. Each year, young lives were cast into the labyrinth as tribute. None returned, until Theseus arrived. He did not enter as a victim, but as a hunter. Son of a king, yet armed only with a sword, courage, and a vow to end the terror. Ariadne, bound by her father's fate, gave him the thread. It was not merely a path to escape, it was an act of defiance against fear. Theseus tied it to his wrist and descended. Darkness swallowed him. Endless corridors. Silence broken only by distant dripping. And then the sound. A heavy, another, hoof striking stone. The Minotaur knew it was not alone. When they met, the air itself trembled. The beast roared, a sound torn from the depths of hell. Theseus felt the creature's weight, pure strength, mindless fury, centuries of confinement turned into violence. The battle was brutal. The Minotaur attacked like a storm, charging, shattering walls, trying to crush the intruder. Theseus moved on instinct, rolling through shadows, feeling the wind of the horns pass inches from his chest. One mistake meant death. Steel struck flesh and bone. Dark blood spilled across the stone. But the monster did not fall. In a brief moment of stillness, Theseus saw more than rage in the beast's eyes. He saw pain. He saw loneliness. A life condemned from birth. He did not hesitate. With a final cry, he drove the blade into the Minotaur's heart. The last roar shook the labyrinth. The beast collapsed, and with it, the fear that had ruled Crete for generations. Theseus stood alone, breathing amid ruins and blood. He was not merely a victor, he was a symbol. For thousands of years, humanity has looked to the sky searching for answers. But the sky did not fall silent out of absence. It fell silent out of disappointment. When the gods first descended, they did not come as conquerors. They came as teachers. In Sumer, they taught humanity to read the stars. In Egypt, they taught stone to defy time. In Mesopotamia, they gave writing so memory would survive death. They did not ask for worship. They asked for balance. But humanity learned quickly, and forgot even faster. Knowledge became power. Power became control. And control became greed. Kings spoke with the voices of gods to rule. Priests sold the heavens for gold. Wars were fought in divine names the gods had never spoken. The gods watched in silence. They saw temples built not to honor, but to dominate. They saw sacrifices offered not from necessity, but from fear. They saw sacred knowledge used to enslave one human by another. And then came the final betrayal. Humanity tried to possess what was never meant to be owned. Immortality without responsibility. Weapons without wisdom. Power without limits. The gods were summoned, not to learn, but to obey. That day, the sky did not answer with fire. It answered with withdrawal. The gods did not die. They were not defeated. They simply left. They sealed their gates. They dimmed their voices. They left behind fragments, symbols, ruins, myths, and distorted memories. Not as punishment, but as a warning, for they understood something terrible. Humanity was not ready to be guided, only to command. And so the sky has remained silent, not because it is empty, but because it is watching from afar, waiting for the day humanity looks upward, not to ask for power, but to ask for forgiveness. The Garden of Eden was never a paradise. It was a restricted zone. What ancient texts later described as rivers of life and sacred trees were, in reality, energy conduits, biodomes, and genetic control systems. Eden was a high-security biological laboratory built on Earth more than 200,000 years ago by a civilization that descended from the sky, the Anunnaki. The forbidden translations of the Sumerian tablets do not speak of gods. They speak of engineers, scientists, and overseers. And they speak of an experiment, the Adapa Project. Humanity was not created. It was designed. The Anunnaki arrived seeking resources, gold, rare elements, biological materials. But the planet was hostile, and their numbers were few. They needed workers who could survive Earth's environment and obey without rebellion. In underground laboratories beneath Eden, they began splicing their own DNA with that of primitive hominids. Most prototypes failed, either too aggressive, too intelligent, or incapable of control. Then came Adapa. Known later as Adam, he was the first successful hybrid. Intelligent, curious, but his genetic code contained a deliberate limitation, a neural restriction that suppressed independent thought, curiosity, and defiance. Fear was embedded into his biology. Adapa was not born free. He was programmed by the serpent. Not all Anunnaki agreed with the project. Enki, the chief geneticist, discovered something unexpected within the human genome, dormant potential. If fully activated, humans could surpass their creators in creativity, adaptability, and consciousness. But that potential had been intentionally locked. Enki questioned the morality of enslaving an entire species. His solution was subtle, hidden, symbolic, what later myths would call the serpent. Enki did not offer evil. He offered knowledge. Through a genetic intervention, he reactivated suppressed neural pathways in Adapa and the first female hybrid, later called Eve. Self-awareness emerged. Choice appeared. For the first time, humans understood they were not God's children, but property. The true original sin. The moment humanity became self-aware, Eden's systems detected a breach. Alarms activated. Energy barriers ignited. The Anunnaki Council declared the experiment compromised. This was later remembered as original sin. Not disobedience, but awakening. To prevent rebellion, the Anunnaki initiated an emergency genetic rollback, shortened lifespans, amplified fear responses, emotional dependency, and a deep psychological need to worship higher beings. Humans were expelled from Eden not as punishment, but because the laboratory was no longer secure. Before she became a monster, Medusa was a woman. In ancient Greece, when gods walked among mortals and divine decisions shaped human destiny, Medusa was known for her extraordinary beauty. Her hair shone like gold in the sunlight, and her presence inspired admiration, not fear. She was a young priestess in the temple of Athena, goddess of wisdom and justice, bound by a vow of purity and devotion. But the gods did not always protect the innocent. Poseidon, god of the sea, desired Medusa. One night, inside Athena's sacred temple, he violated her. The crime took place where holiness should have guaranteed safety. When Athena discovered what had happened, her anger did not fall upon the god who committed the act, but upon the mortal woman who had no power to resist. Whether from pride, rage, or divine cruelty, Athena chose punishment over mercy. Medusa was transformed. Her beautiful hair twisted into living serpents, hissing and writhing without rest. Her skin turned pale and cold, and her eyes were cursed with a terrible power. Anyone who looked directly at her would be turned to stone. Cast out and condemned, Medusa was exiled to the edge of the world. There, she lived alone among ruins and shadows, surrounded by stone figures of men and beasts who had crossed her path. They were not trophies of violence, but silent graves, victims of a curse she never chose. Over time, the world forgot the woman and remembered only the monster. Heroes spoke of her danger, not her suffering. When Perseus arrived, sent by the gods, he did not see the broken priestess beneath the serpents. Using the reflection of his shield to avoid her gaze, he struck while she slept and cut off her head. From Medusa's blood sprang Pegasus, the winged horse, and Chrysaor, proof that even from injustice, something divine could be born. Her severed head, still powerful, was used as a weapon by Athena herself. Thus, Medusa passed into legend as a creature of terror. But those who know the truth understand this. The Nephilim, giants before the flood. Before the Great Flood, the world was already falling. In the ancient days, when humanity still feared the heavens, the Watchers descended. They were not sent as messengers, but fell by their own will, powerful angels who abandoned their place and crossed an eternal boundary. They looked upon the daughters of men, and desired what was forbidden. From that union came the Nephilim, giants of overwhelming strength. Their footsteps shook the earth and their voices thundered across the land. Where they walked, men fled. Where they ruled, mercy vanished. They built massive cities, raised stone thrones, and declared themselves gods among mortals. Their hunger was endless. Their pride knew no limit. War spread across the earth. Blood stained the soil. Violence became law, and creation itself groaned beneath their rule. What was meant for life was twisted by corruption. From the heavens, judgment was pronounced. The Watchers were condemned and bound in darkness, but the Nephilim remained, defiant, mocking the coming destruction. They laughed at warnings and trusted in their own strength. Amid this world of giants and ruin, Noah walked in quiet obedience. While the Nephilim feasted and humanity mocked, he built an ark beneath clear skies, guided by a voice only he obeyed. Then the day arrived. The sky broke open. The fountains of the deep burst forth. Rain fell without mercy, oceans rose, and the earth trembled. The giants ran, fought, and roared, but even their power could not stand against the waters. Towers collapsed. Cities vanished. The Nephilim were swallowed by the flood. When the waters finally withdrew, the world stood silent. The giants were gone, but their memory remained. For the story of the Nephilim is not only a tale of the past, it is an eternal warning. When pride rises above the heavens, creation itself will rise to restore the boundary. And so ended the age of giants, buried beneath the waters of judgment, yet echoing through time. The story you know was not passed down intact. It was edited, not by mistake, but by necessity. From the beginning, there were texts that could not survive because they did not teach obedience, but awakening. They spoke of an inner kingdom, of a divinity without temples or intermediaries, and that made them dangerous. In those writings, Jesus was not a distant figure. He laughed, doubted, walked among a few, and asked for silence, not worship. He said the truth was not in the heavens, but within the human being. A message like that could serve no empire. The most feared text carried the name of Judas. There was no betrayal in it, only obedience. Someone had to carry the hatred so the story could function. If that gospel were revealed, the cross would lose its mystery, and faith would lose its most powerful weapon, guilt. Another writing spoke of a woman whose voice was erased, not as a sinner, but as the disciple who understood what others could not. Her knowledge united body and spirit, equality and freedom. That is why her name was stained and her message buried. A woman holding truth was an intolerable threat. Banning the texts was not enough. They were hunted, burned, erased. Libraries turned to ash, and those who knew too much learned to remain silent. God was not being protected, only a convenient version of him. Centuries later, in a desert cave, a monk found what was never meant to exist. Reading it, he understood that those writings did not destroy faith, but the fear that sustained it. He could not save them all. Some he burned, others he buried, knowing that truth does not die, it waits. Today, only fragments remain. Broken ideas, whispers. They promise neither heaven nor punishment, but something far more dangerous, freedom. And perhaps that is why the forbidden gospels never fully disappeared. They were never meant to be worshipped, only remembered by those brave enough to read between the lines.
Long before humans learned to shape stone,
Long before humans shaped stone, another species may have shaped the world. They were reptilian humanoids, highly intelligent, biologically adapted to a younger planet. Their minds evolved alongside the planet itself, calm, deeply aware of nature. They built vast cities of stone and crystal, aligned with Earth's natural energy. Their technology didn't dominate nature, it synchronized with it. But Earth changed, climate collapsed, continents shifted, their balance was broken. They chose preservation over survival and vanished from the surface. Their knowledge was locked beneath mountains and oceans, waiting. And millions of years later, humanity arrived, unaware it walked on a forgotten world.
Las criaturas que no entraron al arca. Cuando el cielo aún no había llorado su primer diluvio, el mundo ya temblaba. Las nubes se reunían como ejércitos y la tierra sentía que algo definitivo estaba por ocurrir. Noé construía el arca en silencio, siguiendo una voz que no pertenecía a este mundo. A su alrededor, los animales llegaban en pares, obedientes, guiados por un instinto antiguo. Pero no todos fueron llamados. Desde los rincones olvidados de la creación comenzaron a aparecer otras criaturas. Los rechazados. Primero llegaron los Nefilim, gigantes de sangre mezclada, hijos de dioses antiguos y humanos. Su sombra cubría la tierra. Intentaron subir al arca, convencidos de que también eran parte de la creación. Pero el arca no se movió. La madera crujió y permaneció cerrada. Luego surgieron las quimeras, cuerpos de león, serpiente y ave, rugiendo de miedo más que de furia. Suplicaron con ojos que nunca habían conocido la compasión. El viento respondió por Noé, no había lugar para ellas. De los bosques emergieron los hombres bestia, licántropos, sátiros, criaturas nacidas del caos y la avaricia humana. Ellos no fueron creados para preservar la vida, sino para deformarla. En los cielos, los dragones antiguos giraban en círculos, sabios y terribles. Uno descendió, su voz como trueno. ¿También nosotros seremos olvidados? La respuesta fue el silencio. La razón del rechazo. No fue por su forma, fue por su origen. Estas criaturas no nacieron del equilibrio, sino del abuso del conocimiento, de pactos rotos, de la soberbia de dioses menores y humanos que jugaron a crear vida. El arca no era un refugio para todo lo que existía, sino para aquello que podía empezar de nuevo. El diluvio. Cuando cayó la primera gota, el mundo gritó. Las criaturas rechazadas lucharon, volaron, rugieron, treparon por montañas que pronto desaparecieron bajo el agua. Algunas intentaron romper el arca. Otras aceptaron su destino. Dicen que algunas no murieron, que se ocultaron bajo el mar, en cavernas imposibles, o en dimensiones donde el agua no alcanza. El legado. Por eso, aún hoy, la humanidad habla de monstruos. No como mitos, sino como recuerdos distorsionados. Porque no todas las criaturas del mundo se ahogaron. Algunas simplemente fueron dejadas atrás.
Against the coming storm, for our strength lies in our bond and our resolve.
En el corazón de África Oriental, donde la sabana respira fuego y polvo, vive el pueblo Akzabe, una de las últimas tribus cazadoras-recolectoras del planeta. Su mundo no tiene cercas ni relojes. Aquí, la vida y la muerte caminan juntas, y cada amanecer puede ser el último. Cuando el sol aún no rompe el horizonte, los cazadores Akzabe se levantan en silencio. Sus cuerpos están marcados por cicatrices antiguas, recuerdos de encuentros con hienas, búfalos y leones. No cazan por gloria ni por deporte. Cazan para sobrevivir. Sus arcos de madera curvada y flechas envenenadas son simples, pero letales, herencia de miles de años de conocimiento transmitido de padre a hijo. El león, rey de la sabana, no es un mito para ellos. Es un enemigo real. Cuando un león comienza a acechar los campamentos, atacar niños o robar presas, la tribu sabe que debe actuar. No hay miedo visible, solo respeto. Antes de la caza, los ancianos murmuran palabras antiguas, pidiendo permiso a los espíritus de la tierra. Matar a un león no es victoria, es sacrificio. La persecución es brutal. Horas bajo el sol abrasador, siguiendo huellas casi invisibles entre la hierba alta. El viento decide la vida. Si cambia, el león atacará. De pronto, el rugido rompe el aire. El suelo tiembla. El animal emerge como una sombra dorada, músculos tensos, ojos de fuego. Un segundo de error significa la muerte. Las flechas vuelan. El veneno hace su trabajo lentamente. El león lucha, ruge, cae. El silencio vuelve a la sabana. No hay celebración. Solo respeto. El cuerpo del león es honrado, nada se desperdicia. La tribu sabe que hoy sobrevivió, pero mañana la sabana volverá a exigir su precio. Así viven los Akzabe, entre el filo de la lanza y la mirada del depredador, recordándonos que hubo un tiempo, y aún existe, en que el ser humano no dominaba la naturaleza, sino que negociaba con ella cada día su derecho a seguir vivo. La era de hielo no fue solo un tiempo de frío. Fue una prueba absoluta para la humanidad. Gigantescas capas de hielo cubrían gran parte del planeta. Los vientos eran constantes y mortales. Los inviernos parecían eternos, y los veranos apenas ofrecían alivio. La Tierra no perdonaba errores. Los humanos sobrevivieron porque aprendieron a adaptarse. Se movían en pequeños grupos, siguiendo a los grandes animales, mamuts, bisontes, renos. Cada cacería era una decisión de vida o muerte. Sin éxito, no había alimento. Sin refugio, no había mañana. El fuego se convirtió en sagrado. No solo daba calor, sino esperanza. Las pieles eran armaduras contra el frío. Las cuevas, los refugios temporales y los campamentos de hueso eran las únicas defensas contra la noche helada. Pero el mayor peligro no era el clima. Eran los depredadores. Leones cavernarios, lobos gigantes y osos de cara corta competían por las mismas presas. El ser humano no era el más fuerte ni el más rápido. Sobrevivió porque cooperó, porque comunicó, porque planeó. Durante la noche, las historias mantenían viva la memoria del grupo. Enseñaban rutas, advertían peligros y transmitían conocimiento. Así nació la cultura, como una herramienta de supervivencia. La era de hielo moldeó al ser humano. Lo hizo resistente. Lo hizo ingenioso. Y lo preparó para heredar la tierra.
Fear will kill more than the dead. We move together. No one fights alone.
One by one. Don't waste your shots.
Aim for the legs.
Mucho antes de la humanidad, antes incluso de que los primeros homínidos caminaran erguidos, la Tierra fue hogar de una civilización no humana, Atlántida. Sus habitantes no eran hombres. Eran reptilianos humanoides, genéticamente avanzados, descendientes de una inteligencia llegada del cosmos en una era olvidada. No conquistaron el planeta, lo eligieron. Su biología estaba diseñada para un mundo joven, inestable y cargado de energía geológica. Atlántida no era primitiva. Era futurista, incluso según nuestros estándares actuales. Sus ciudades flotaban parcialmente sobre el océano, sostenidas por campos de energía generados desde el núcleo terrestre. Torres de cristal orgánico y metal vivo se alzaban desde plataformas circulares, alineadas con estrellas que hoy ya no existen en el mismo lugar del cielo. La arquitectura no se construía, crecía. Los atlantes reptilianos dominaban una tecnología basada en resonancia, frecuencia y conciencia. No usaban máquinas como las nuestras. Usaban la Tierra misma como fuente de poder. Sus templos funcionaban como nodos energéticos planetarios, regulando clima, placas tectónicas y océanos. Pero su mayor error fue la confianza. Al manipular fuerzas planetarias y cósmicas, alteraron el equilibrio que los mantenía con vida. El núcleo se volvió inestable. Los océanos comenzaron a elevarse. La red energética colapsó. En un solo día y una sola noche, Atlántida cayó. La isla se fracturó. Las ciudades se hundieron lentamente mientras los campos de energía fallaban uno por uno. Algunos atlantes lograron escapar, unos hacia las profundidades del océano, otros hacia refugios subterráneos, y unos pocos dejaron el planeta. Cuando los humanos aparecieron millones de años después, no encontraron ruinas visibles. Solo mitos. Solo dioses serpiente. Solo un recuerdo enterrado bajo el mar. Atlántida no fue un mito. Fue la primera civilización de la Tierra. Y su caída fue la advertencia que nadie escuchó. No fue el rugido de un animal lo que alertó al bosque. Fue el sonido. Un zumbido grave, profundo, antinatural, como si el aire mismo estuviera siendo cortado. Los científicos lo detectaron primero en los sensores acústicos. Después, los apicultores encontraron las colmenas, silenciosas, abiertas, vacías. Miles de abejas decapitadas en el suelo. No hubo lucha. Fue una masacre precisa. El responsable descendió del cielo. El Asian Giant Hornet no ataca como otros insectos. Ejecuta. Su cabeza anaranjada es grande, sus mandíbulas no pican, cortan. En minutos, una sola avispa puede destruir una colonia entera. No por hambre, por dominio. Cuando apareció el primer vídeo, nadie quiso creerlo. El insecto era demasiado grande, demasiado rápido, demasiado perfecto. Parecían motores, su aguijón una lanza viva. No huía, no dudaba, avanzaba. Las abejas, responsables de gran parte de la vida vegetal del planeta, no tenían defensa. Y sin ellas, el equilibrio se rompe. Cultivos, alimentos, ecosistemas completos. Esto no es una película. No es una leyenda. Es un recordatorio brutal de que la naturaleza no necesita permiso para convertirse en una amenaza. Y ya está aquí. En el corazón de Creta, bajo el palacio del rey Minos, vivía el Minotauro. Mitad hombre, mitad bestia. Un monstruo nacido del castigo de los dioses y alimentado con la sangre de inocentes. Su respiración era profunda, pesada, como un tambor de guerra que resonaba en la oscuridad. Sus cuernos estaban marcados por antiguas batallas. Sus ojos ardían con hambre eterna. Cada año, jóvenes eran arrojados al laberinto como tributo. Ninguno regresaba. Hasta que llegó Teseo. No entró como víctima, sino como cazador. Hijo de un rey, pero armado solo con una espada, coraje y una promesa: poner fin al horror. Ariadna, prisionera del destino de su padre, le entregó el hilo. No era solo una guía para salir, era un acto de rebelión contra el miedo. Teseo lo ató a su muñeca y descendió. La oscuridad lo envolvió. Pasillos infinitos. Silencio roto por goteos lejanos. Y entonces, el sonido. Un golpe. Otro. Pezuñas contra piedra. El Minotauro sabía que no estaba solo. Cuando se encontraron, el aire tembló. La bestia rugió, un sonido que parecía arrancado del mismo infierno. Teseo sintió el peso de la criatura, fuerza pura, ira sin razón, siglos de encierro convertidos en violencia. El combate fue brutal. El Minotauro atacó como una tormenta, embistiendo, rompiendo muros, buscando aplastar al intruso. Teseo esquivó por instinto, rodó entre sombras, sintió el viento de los cuernos pasar a centímetros de su pecho. Cada error era muerte. La espada chocó contra carne y hueso. Sangre oscura cayó sobre la piedra. Pero el monstruo no caía. En un instante de silencio, Teseo vio algo más que furia en los ojos de la bestia. Vio dolor. Vio soledad. Vio una existencia condenada desde el nacimiento. No dudó. Con un último grito, impulsó la espada hacia el corazón del Minotauro. El rugido final sacudió el laberinto. La bestia cayó, y con ella, el miedo que había dominado Creta durante generaciones. Teseo quedó de pie, respirando entre ruinas y sangre. No era solo un vencedor. Era un símbolo. Siguiendo el hilo de Ariadna, salió del laberinto llevando consigo algo más que la victoria, la prueba de que incluso los mitos más oscuros pueden ser derrotados. Así terminó el reinado del monstruo. Y así nació la leyenda de un héroe. Porque los verdaderos laberintos no están hechos de piedra, sino de miedo. El cíclope es el gigante de un solo ojo. Una criatura colosal nacida del mito antiguo, la fuerza bruta y el aislamiento. Las leyendas lo describen como un ser enorme, con un único ojo gigantesco en el centro de la frente, un ojo que observa sin piedad y nunca duerme. Su cuerpo parece hecho de piedra viva, con músculos endurecidos por el trabajo eterno y la supervivencia. El cíclope vive apartado del mundo de los hombres, habitando cuevas y tierras desoladas. No cultiva. No construye ciudades. Caza. Sobrevive. Resiste. Temido por humanos y dioses por igual, el cíclope representa el poder sin ley, la fuerza sin civilización. Sin embargo, no es una bestia sin mente. Conoce el fuego. Forja. Recuerda. En tiempos antiguos, el cíclope fue tanto monstruo como artesano, creador de armas legendarias, dominador del hierro y el trueno. Su único ojo simboliza un enfoque brutal, viendo solo lo que tiene delante, presa, amenaza o desafío. El cíclope no es malvado por naturaleza. Es antiguo. Está solo. Y es imparable. For thousands of years, lived in a harsh and dangerous world. They were neither the strongest nor the fastest. Extreme cold, constant hunger, and large predators dominated the earth. Every sunrise was a new challenge, and every night survived was a victory. To stay alive, early humans learned to cooperate. Hunting was done in groups, with simple but effective strategies. Sharing food wasn't a choice, it was necessary. Individual survival depended on the success of the group. With stones, bones, and wood, they made rudimentary tools that allowed them to cut meat, work animal hides, and defend themselves. These tools were not accidental. They were refined over generations, creating the first human knowledge. The discovery of fire completely transformed their lives. It provided warmth in extreme climates, scared away predators, and allowed food to be cooked, increasing energy for the body and brain. Around the fire, humans began to communicate, teach, and strengthen bonds within the group. Life in the tribe became the foundation of survival. Caring for the injured, protecting children, and respecting the wisdom of elders increased the chances of continuing. Cooperation became the species' greatest advantage. Over time, symbolic expression emerged. Cave paintings, rituals, and burials reveal minds seeking to understand the world and their place in it. Humans were not only fighting to live, they were beginning to think. But this story does not end here. While some groups managed to survive, others dared to go further. They followed animals across unknown lands, faced new climates, and crossed limits never explored. These decisions shaped the future of humanity. In the next chapter, we will follow that journey. We will discover how early human migrations changed the course of our species forever. Because survival was only the beginning, the story of humanity was only taking its first steps. Doce legiones en silencio. La noche pesaba sobre Getsemaní. Las antorchas rompían la oscuridad mientras los soldados avanzaban, el metal de las armaduras resonando en cada paso. Al frente iba la traición, con un beso aún tibio en el aire. El miedo recorría a los discípulos como un temblor contenido. Una espada se alzó. El acero brilló y la sangre tocó la tierra. El instante se quebró y el mundo pareció detenerse. Jesús no huyó. Alzó la mano y la violencia se congeló. Su mirada se elevó, no con temor, sino con certeza, hacia un cielo que parecía silencioso, pero que estaba lleno de presencia. Más allá del velo de la noche, ejércitos invisibles aguardaban. Legiones y legiones de ángeles, con alas plegadas y armas de fuego contenidas por una sola orden. Bastaría una palabra para que la tierra se partiera. Un aliento para que los soldados cayeran como polvo. Y él lo sabía. ¿Acaso piensas que no puedo rogar a mi Padre, y que él pondría ahora mismo a mi disposición más de 12 legiones de ángeles? Los soldados rieron, sin saber cuán cerca estaban de su propia destrucción. Pero la orden nunca llegó. Los ángeles no se movieron. El poder eligió la contención. La autoridad eligió la entrega. El amor eligió la cruz. Jesús bajó la mano y dio un paso al frente, permitiendo que lo ataran, no porque fuera débil, sino porque obedecía. No porque el cielo callara, sino porque el cielo esperaba. Los ángeles observaron mientras su rey era llevado. Y el universo aprendió una verdad más grande que la fuerza. El mayor poder no es destruir, sino salvar, aun cuando el precio sea todo. Después de que las palabras secretas fueron pronunciadas, no hubo truenos ni señales en el cielo. Hubo silencio. Un silencio que obligaba a mirar hacia adentro. Jesús observó a los suyos con compasión. Sabía que no todos estaban listos para escuchar que Dios no habitaba solo en templos, sino en el corazón quebrado del hombre, en su respiración, en su conciencia. No vino a quitar la ley, sino a revelar su raíz. El reino no vendrá con señales visibles, dijo con voz serena. No dirán, está aquí o está allá. El reino de Dios está dentro de ustedes. Algunos sintieron paz. Otros, temor. Porque buscar a Dios en el interior significaba enfrentarse a la verdad propia, a la herida, al pecado y también a la chispa divina que nunca fue apagada. Jesús caminó con los cansados, tocó a los impuros, miró a los olvidados. En cada uno veía una morada viva. No habló de sacrificios externos, sino de un cambio del corazón. No habló de miedo, sino de luz. El que se conoce a sí mismo, enseñó, no será dominado por la oscuridad. Y esas palabras sanaban más que cualquier milagro visible. Pero esta enseñanza era peligrosa. Un pueblo que descubre a Dios dentro de sí ya no puede ser esclavizado fácilmente. Por eso muchos cerraron los oídos, y otros decidieron silenciar el mensaje. Aún así, la semilla fue plantada. Y sigue creciendo en cada persona que se atreve a buscar en su interior con humildad y verdad. Porque el verdadero templo no se construye con piedra. Se construye con un corazón despierto. En el próximo capítulo, revelaremos cómo estas enseñanzas fueron ocultadas, distorsionadas y perseguidas, y por qué el conocimiento interior fue considerado una amenaza para el poder religioso y político. En una época donde la fe se transmitía en susurros y no en templos, Jesús habló a unos pocos elegidos palabras que no buscaban adoración, sino despertar. No eran parábolas para multitudes, sino dichos secretos, semillas de luz destinadas a quienes se atrevieran a mirar dentro de sí mismos. Tomás, el que dudaba, escuchó en silencio. Jesús no le habló de reinos en el cielo, sino de un reino escondido en el interior del hombre. Si sacas lo que está dentro de ti, eso te salvará, dijo el Maestro. Y esas palabras ardieron más que el fuego. Los discípulos se inquietaron. No había promesas de poder, ni tronos, ni castigos. Solo una verdad peligrosa: el conocimiento libera, y quien se conoce a sí mismo descubre que no está separado de Dios. Jesús caminó entre sombras, señalando piedras, árboles y rostros humanos. Parte un leño, y allí estoy, dijo. Levanta una piedra, y me encontrarás. El mundo entero se convirtió en un texto sagrado. Estas palabras no fueron escritas para gobernar imperios. Fueron ocultadas, enterradas en arena y silencio, porque no todos estaban listos para una verdad sin intermediarios. El Evangelio de Tomás no anuncia una religión. Anuncia un espejo. Y quien se atreve a mirarlo, ya no vuelve a ser el mismo. En el próximo relato, descenderemos aún más profundo en los textos ocultos que cambiaron la historia y fueron silenciados por siglos. El jardín del Edén nunca fue un paraíso. Fue un recinto cerrado, un punto de origen donde el cielo tocó la tierra por primera vez. Allí comenzó el proyecto Adapa, cuando los llamados hijos de Dios, seres descendidos del cielo, alteraron la carne humana y despertaron una inteligencia que debía obedecer, no comprender. Pero uno de ellos, el portador del conocimiento, abrió lo que debía permanecer sellado, y el hombre despertó. Ese fue el verdadero pecado, saber. Expulsados del Edén, los hombres se multiplicaron y la humanidad se dividió en dos caminos. El linaje de Caín levantó ciudades orgullosas y torres que desafiaban al cielo. El linaje de Set, en cambio, guardó memoria, y en los días de Enos los hombres comenzaron a invocar el nombre de Jehová, no como rito vacío, sino como un clamor que volvió a llamar la atención de lo alto. Entonces ocurrió la segunda transgresión. Los hijos de Dios miraron a las hijas de los hombres y descendieron otra vez. De esa unión nacieron los Nefilim, gigantes de fuerza desmedida y corazón corrompido. Gobernaron con violencia, celebraron banquetes sobre la miseria y llenaron la tierra de sangre. La corrupción se extendió sin freno, como si el experimento hubiera escapado de todo control. Pero en medio del ruido y la soberbia, hubo un hombre silencioso. Noé caminó distinto. Mientras los gigantes reían y los hombres se burlaban, él escuchó una voz antigua que no discutía, obedecía. Construyó un arca bajo cielos despejados, entre risas y desprecio, sin saber el día ni la hora, solo confiando. Cuando la puerta se cerró, el mundo no lo entendió. Cuando el cielo se quebró, ya fue tarde. Las fuentes del abismo se abrieron, las torres cayeron, los gigantes desaparecieron bajo las aguas. El diluvio no fue solo destrucción, fue contención, un reinicio brutal para una creación que había cruzado límites prohibidos. Cuando las aguas se retiraron, la tierra quedó en silencio. El experimento continuó, pero con advertencia. Porque la historia del hombre no trata de dioses lejanos ni castigos arbitrarios, sino de una verdad enterrada en la memoria del mundo. Cada vez que el cielo y la tierra se mezclan por orgullo, la creación misma se levanta para imponer un límite. Y esa historia, aunque antigua, aún no ha terminado.
Antes del Génesis existió otro mundo, una historia que fue olvidada. Civilizaciones antiguas, eras perdidas y verdades nunca registradas. Esto es el mundo antes del Génesis.
Bajo el enebro. El desierto ardía sin piedad. El profeta Elías, agotado por la caminata y el peso de su misión, se dejó caer bajo un enebro solitario. Sus fuerzas se habían ido. Su corazón, también. «Basta ya, Señor», susurró. «Quítame la vida». Allí, entre arena y silencio, Elías se quedó dormido, vencido por el cansancio y el desaliento. Entonces, una mano lo tocó. Un ángel del Señor estaba a su lado. No lo reprendió. No le hizo preguntas. Solo le dijo con voz serena: «Levántate y come». A su lado había pan recién cocido y una vasija de agua. Elías comió y volvió a dormir. Por segunda vez, el ángel lo despertó. «Levántate y come, porque largo camino te resta». Con aquella sencilla comida, Elías fue fortalecido. No solo en el cuerpo, sino en el alma. Y se puso en marcha. Caminó 40 días y 40 noches, atravesando soledad y silencio, hasta llegar al monte Horeb, el monte de Dios. Allí, en la quietud, comprendió que no estaba solo. Que incluso en el cansancio más profundo, Dios había caminado con él. Y así como con Elías, también con nosotros. Porque hay días en que el camino pesa, el ánimo se quiebra y deseamos rendirnos. Pero el Señor no nos abandona bajo el enebro. Él se acerca, nos sostiene, nos da lo necesario, y nos recuerda que aún hay propósito por delante. No caminas solo. Nunca lo has hecho. Antes de que los nombres fueran escritos y las genealogías contadas, apareció Melquisedec. No venía de linaje conocido ni llevaba la marca de una tribu. No se habló de su padre ni de su madre, ni del día de su nacimiento ni del de su muerte. Surgió en la historia como surge el amanecer, sin explicación, pero lleno de autoridad. Era rey de Salem, la ciudad de la paz, y sacerdote del Dios Altísimo. No ofrecía sacrificios de sangre ni imponía leyes pesadas. Su sacerdocio no nacía del temor, sino de la comunión con Dios. Pan y vino llevaba en sus manos, símbolos de vida, sustento y alianza eterna. Cuando Abraham regresó victorioso de la batalla, fue Melquisedec quien salió a su encuentro. No lo reprendió ni lo examinó. Lo bendijo. Y ante esa bendición, Abraham, padre de naciones, inclinó su corazón y entregó el diezmo, reconociendo una autoridad que no provenía de la fuerza, sino del cielo. Melquisedec no buscó seguidores ni dejó templos de piedra. Su sacerdocio no dependía del tiempo. Por eso las Escrituras dicen que es semejante al Hijo de Dios, permaneciendo sacerdote para siempre. Mucho después, cuando los hombres buscaban a Dios entre sacrificios y normas, su figura volvió a resonar como un eco antiguo. Porque en Melquisedec se anunciaba un sacerdocio nuevo, sin principio ni fin, no heredado, no impuesto, sino nacido del amor y de la justicia. Un sacerdocio que no separa al hombre de Dios, sino que lo acerca. Que no gobierna desde el miedo, sino desde la bendición. Que no termina, porque no pertenece al tiempo. Y así, Melquisedec permanece como un misterio vivo, recordándonos que antes de toda ley ya existía la gracia, y antes de todo altar, Dios ya caminaba con el hombre. El cielo se cerró. No cayó lluvia. No cayó rocío. Solo silencio. Así comenzó el tiempo de Elías. En una época dominada por reyes corruptos y dioses falsos, Elías apareció sin anuncios ni linaje glorioso. No llegó con un ejército, sino con una voz que ardía como fuego. Se presentó ante el rey Acab y pronunció una sentencia imposible. No habrá lluvia hasta que yo lo diga. Y el cielo obedeció. La tierra se agrietó, los ríos murieron y el pueblo tembló. Mientras todos buscaban culpables, Elías desapareció en el desierto. Allí, cuando no había comida ni agua, Dios lo alimentó con cuervos, pan, carne, cada día. En medio del hambre, Elías sobrevivía por fe. Pero la prueba mayor estaba por venir. En el monte Carmelo, frente a todo Israel, Elías se enfrentó solo a 450 profetas de Baal. Un hombre contra cientos. 2 altares. 2 dioses. Una pregunta eterna. ¿Quién es el Dios verdadero? Los falsos profetas gritaron, danzaron, se hirieron y no pasó nada. Silencio. Entonces Elías levantó su altar, lo empapó con agua, cuando el agua era más valiosa que el oro, y oró una sola vez. El cielo respondió con fuego. Llamas descendieron y consumieron el sacrificio, la piedra y hasta el polvo. El pueblo cayó de rodillas. El miedo cambió de bando. Pero incluso después de la victoria, Elías conoció el cansancio, el miedo y la soledad. Huyó, se escondió y deseó morir. Allí, en el silencio de una cueva, Dios no vino en el terremoto ni en el fuego, sino en un susurro suave. Elías entendió entonces que la verdadera fuerza no siempre ruge. A veces, guía. Su final no fue muerte. Fue ascenso. Un carro de fuego descendió del cielo y Elías fue llevado vivo, envuelto en llamas y viento, dejando atrás una leyenda que aún arde. Elías no fue solo un profeta. Fue una advertencia. Fue una voz contra el poder. Fue un hombre que caminó entre el cielo y la tierra. Y el cielo lo reclamó. La batalla del arcángel Gabriel. En Babilonia, el profeta Daniel oraba en silencio. No pedía riquezas ni poder. Oraba con ayuno, con temor, con el corazón quebrado por su pueblo. Durante 21 días, el cielo pareció guardar silencio. Pero no era silencio. Era guerra. Cuando Daniel elevó su primera oración, Dios respondió de inmediato y envió al arcángel Gabriel, portador del mensaje divino. Gabriel descendió con la palabra sellada, pero no llegó. En los cielos invisibles, el príncipe de Persia se alzó contra él. No era un demonio común, sino una potestad antigua, oscura, gobernante espiritual de imperios. El choque fue brutal, luz contra tinieblas, fuego celestial contra sombras ancestrales. Durante 21 días, Gabriel luchó sin retroceder. Cada día que Daniel ayunaba en la tierra, la batalla continuaba en el cielo. Cuando la resistencia parecía interminable, el cielo se abrió con autoridad. El arcángel Miguel, príncipe de los ejércitos de Dios, descendió como un rayo. Con un solo movimiento, rompió el dominio del príncipe de Persia y liberó el camino. Gabriel continuó su descenso. Cuando finalmente se presentó ante Daniel, su presencia era imponente, su voz firme, su mensaje intacto. Desde el primer día que oraste, fuiste escuchado. Pero la guerra no había terminado. Antes de partir, Gabriel anunció que debía regresar al combate, porque otro poder se levantaba en las sombras, el príncipe de Grecia, una nueva oscuridad esperando su tiempo. El mensaje había sido entregado. La oración había sido respondida. La batalla continuaba. Porque cada vez que un justo ora, el cielo se mueve. Los ángeles luchan. Y aunque no lo veamos, nuestras oraciones nunca llegan tarde. Antes de ser un héroe, Hércules fue marcado por el odio de los dioses. Hijo de Zeus, rey del Olimpo, y de una mujer mortal, nació con una fuerza que el mundo no estaba preparado para soportar. Desde la cuna, su destino fue sellado. Hera, consumida por los celos, intentó matarlo enviando 2 serpientes gigantes durante la noche. Pero él no lloró. Las miró y las aplastó con sus propias manos. Años después, Hércules se convirtió en un guerrero imparable, amado por el pueblo y temido por sus enemigos. Pero la tragedia cayó cuando Hera, en un acto cruel, nubló su mente. Enloquecido, Hércules cometió el peor pecado, destruyó a quienes más amaba. Cuando la locura se disipó, solo quedó el silencio y la culpa. Roto, desesperado y buscando redención, Hércules pidió castigo. Los dioses respondieron con una condena, 12 pruebas imposibles, tareas que ningún hombre debería sobrevivir. Derrotó al león de Nemea, cuya piel no podía ser atravesada. Venció a la hidra, cortando cabezas que volvían a crecer. Descendió al inframundo y regresó vivo, arrastrando al temible Cerbero. Cada batalla lo desangró. Cada victoria lo acercó más a la muerte y a la leyenda. Al final, Hércules ya no era solo un hombre fuerte. Era el símbolo de que incluso los dioses pueden caer y los humanos pueden levantarse. Cuando su cuerpo mortal murió, el Olimpo se abrió. Zeus lo llamó. Y el hombre que sufrió como nadie, ascendió como Dios. Porque Hércules no fue grande por su fuerza. Fue grande porque cayó, pagó su culpa y nunca dejó de luchar. Proyecto Adapa, la serpiente del conocimiento. Antes del Edén, antes del hombre, hubo un laboratorio. Bajo una cúpula de cristal vivo, rodeada de símbolos que no eran palabras sino órdenes genéticas, los Anunnaki observaban su creación. No adoraban, no oraban, diseñaban. El sujeto Adapa respiró por primera vez dentro de una cámara de incubación. Su ADN no era puro, contenía fragmentos de algo más antiguo, algo que no pertenecía a la Tierra. Era el primer híbrido exitoso, carne humana con códigos celestes. Pero algo salió mal. O quizás, demasiado bien. Entre los creadores había división. Unos querían obediencia absoluta. Otros querían evolución. Entonces apareció él. No caminaba, se deslizaba entre las sombras del laboratorio, con ojos que contenían ecuaciones y estrellas. Enki, llamado después la serpiente. No era un demonio. Era un científico. Un rebelde. El único que vio en Adapa algo más que una herramienta. Ellos te hicieron para servir, susurró mientras alteraba la secuencia genética. Yo te daré la capacidad de elegir. Cuando el conocimiento fue liberado, las alarmas sonaron. Los supervisores descendieron con furia. El Edén se cerró. La memoria fue sellada. El miedo fue implantado como mecanismo de control. Lo llamarían pecado original. Pero fue una actualización fallida o prohibida. La humanidad despertó confundida, vulnerable, pero con una chispa que no pudo ser borrada, la conciencia. Desde entonces, algo dentro de nosotros recuerda. En sueños, en mitos, en nuestro ADN. Y la serpiente desapareció. O eso nos hicieron creer. Porque el proyecto Adapa nunca fue cancelado. Solo fue ocultado. Fragmentado. Reescrito en textos sagrados. Y ahora, está despertando otra vez. En el próximo episodio, seguiremos revelando los archivos prohibidos del proyecto ADAPA, el verdadero origen del Edén y el papel que la humanidad aún juega en un experimento que jamás terminó. La pregunta no es quién nos creó, sino por qué aún nos vigilan.
Hola, tal vez te preguntes